ओम सत्यं परम धीमहि, ओम सत्यं परम धीमहि, ओम सत्यं परम धीमहि, ओम सत्यं परम धीमहि, ओम सत्यं परम धीमहि।
Self-observation. Now, I want you to just think on this point. What change will come in our memory once we start the technique of self-observation, once we start the process of self-observation? આપણે કાલે જોયું કે અંદર આપણી જાતને બે ભાગ કરી અને સ્વનિરીક્ષણ આપણે ચાલુ કરીએ છીએ. એક ભાગ આઈ છે, બીજું ભાગ ઇટ છે. તો જ્યારે આ પ્રોસેસ આપણે ચાલુ કરીએ છીએ ત્યારે સ્મૃતિમાં શું ફેરફાર થાય છે? વોટ ટ્રાન્સફોર્મેશન કમ્સ ઇન મેમરી? Just think about it. What could happen? What could happen in memory? Where has the data for all our memory come till now? Say I'm 60 years old, right? And where has, in these 60 years, where has the data for all, which has filled my memory, where has all that data come from? Perception from the 5 external senses. From the 5 external senses. મારી પાસે જે સ્મૃતિ છે એ 5 બાહ્ય ઇન્દ્રિયોમાંથી આવેલા જે ડેટા છે એમાંથી ભેગી થયેલી સ્મૃતિ છે. If I say I was crying when I was a young child, it is because of the outer senses. If I say I liked a blue pant when I was young, it is because of the outer senses. So all the memory, the quality of my memory is something which has accumulated through the outer senses, the 5 senses. Now we are opening an inner sense which is observing inside, not outside. જ્યારે સેલ્ફ ઓબ્ઝર્વેશન આપણે ચાલુ કર્યું, અંદર જે દ્રષ્ટુ છે, જે ઓબ્ઝર્વિંગ આઈ જે છે, it is looking inside. Now the data which is coming into the memory is not from the 5 senses, it is coming from somewhere else. This is a radical change. સમજાય છે હું શું કહું છું? Can you get what I'm trying to say? So a new quality of memory is being built. What would be the first effect of such a memory change? What would I say to myself once I'm observing inside? There's something within me which is now separating from the mechanism of life, and it is observing each moment what is passing on inside. Till now, this all my inner processes were in darkness. Now it is looking inside, and new data is coming in. What would the first feeling be? What would the first feeling be? જ્યારે ચાલુ થાય તો અંદર કઈ પહેલું ફીલિંગ આપણને આવશે?
one of new discovery.
New discovery, right? What would I say? I am 60 years old. Say at 60 I start this process of self-observation. What would I say? See, self-observation is taking a light into the mind. I'm throwing attention, which is a torch, a light, I'm throwing it into my own mind, into my own psychic structure. And suddenly, that which was till now I was totally unaware of is opening up in front of me. So, what will I say? That all these 60 years I have lived in darkness. All these 60 years I have lived in darkness. I could not hear inside, I could not see inside. આ 60 વર્ષ અંધકારમાં ચાલ્યા ગયા. કારણ કે નથી અંદર જોયું, નથી અંદર સાંભળ્યું. ધૃતરાષ્ટ્ર. This was the state of Dhritarashtra, the blind old king in the story. He was not what you call physically blind. The Rishi is talking of a higher kind of blindness. Now, something is going to come over here, and I say to myself, 60 years I have lived in darkness. Can I take light back into those 60 years? 60 વર્ષ મારા અંધકારમાં ચાલ્યા ગયા. હવે અંદરનો દીપક પ્રગટી ગયો. અંદર પ્રકાશ આવવા માંડ્યું. હું જોયા કરું છું અંદર. હવે હું મારી જાતને પૂછું છું કે એ જે 60 વર્ષ મારા અંધકારમાં ચાલ્યા ગયા, એમાં હું પ્રકાશ પાછો લઈ જઈ શકું છું? What would be the technique? What would be the technique? See, this in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is called as prati prasav, taking the light back. Taking the light back. And he uses the word prasav right to the point of... Prasav means delivery. Right? Reverse delivery. Reverse delivery. Right to that point. He's not talking of the events of life. He's not talking about what food I ate in childhood. He's not talking about what clothes I ate, what I did in school. All this is memory of the outer senses. He's talking about something else. How do I take this light back into those 60 years? Think about it. How would it be done? How would it be done? This was not the topic of today, but we're going a little step ahead into self-observation. But I said, let's go and then I'll talk about what I've written today. So, how will we go about it? How will we go about it?
This is maybe trying to explain or understand the cause and effect of things as they happen to you.
Out of the 5 centers, say the intellectual center, the emotional center, the moving center, the instinctive center, and of course the sex center. Which center is active in the young child? Which center? The moving center. The child learns through imitation. The child learns through imitation. એટલે બાળકની અંદર જે સેન્ટર એક્ટિવ છે એ મૂવિંગ સેન્ટર, અને બાળક જે શીખે છે એ મિમિક્રી કરીને શીખે છે. If he sees the father smoking, he will 5 years he'll try to smoke a cigarette or something, right? Out of this moving center, which is so active in childhood, what have we gathered today? આપણી પાસે આપણી તિજોરીની અંદર શું છે? What is lying in our subconscious, in our unconscious mind? that we have gathered through childhood, through imitation, through the moving center, and is there with us right now. Gestures. 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 Gestures में गुजराती में શું કહેશો? Gestures. Mannerisms. બોલો બોલો આ છો તો
એકજાતની વર્તન
નહીં મુદ્રા
મુદ્રા
રાઈટ હાથની મુદ્રા આંખની મુદ્રા હોઠની મુદ્રા આવી કેટલી મુદ્રાઓ છે? How many of these gestures are we holding on from childhood? How many? કેટલા છે? How many? Very easy, very easy. બધાને ખબર છે. Very easy. How many? 100. 100. Right? And આ જે 100 childhoodના જે gestures, these gestures of childhood, these accumulated moving center, what do you call, mechanical mudras, what we call. Collectively, what will we call them? Collectively, what do we call them? There are 100 of them. Shishupal, right? So Shishupal is a king in the story of the Mahabharata. Sishu means a child. Pal means to poshana, to give food to the child, to give support to the child lying within us. Can you see that these gestures which we have accumulated from childhood, which we are carrying on, and now we are observing within ourselves, we are starting this process of self-observation, and we see one gesture and we throw light on that gesture and we are free of that gesture. Is that gesture connected with a whole series of inner patterns right up to childhood? Have we taken the light back in those 60 years? Can you understand what I'm trying to say? This is the meaning of killing of Shishupal. Shishupal is killed by Krishna in the story. But he's only killed after he gives 100 bad words to Krishna. He what do you call it?
Galo.
Oh, English word. Right? So Shishupal is only killed. So these are 100 mannerisms in us which are holding on to that child. And if that child is killed, then light goes right down to our childhood. Everything is illumined inside. ये जो ए बाळकનું મૃત્યુ થઈ જાય શિશુપાલ, તો આખું આપણું જે અત્યાર સુધી 60 વર્ષ હું જીવી ગયો એ આખામાં પ્રકાશ આવી જાય. કારણ કે each of the mannerisms, they are a chain. One is connected to the other. They have been repeated so many times. And suddenly that whole life which I have led as an unconscious life is full of consciousness. And this is the technique. How does Krishna kill Shishupal? How does Krishna kill Shishupal? He uses the Sudarshan Chakra, that discus of his, the Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan means right observation. So, through right observation, we kill that inner child. How will we observe that inner child? How will we observe that inner child? કેવી રીતે એને જોશું, કઈ રીતે એને પકડવો પડે. We have to catch him in the act. In the act. એને ચોરી કરતા પકડવો પડે. We have to catch him in the act. Supposing you're in your office and the boss is gone all haywire. He's shouting and screaming at you. Right? And the boss then goes away. What do you do? What do you do? Tell me. What do you do? You have to catch that Shishupal in the act. You have to catch him in the act. In a pakadvo over. Supposing somebody comes and he's talking and talking, and your friend is standing next to you, you'll say, huh? Right? Where has that gesture come from? Can you see? This is Shishupal. Like this, we have 100 gestures. We have 100 gestures. Somebody will take out their tongue like this, doing something. Even a 60-year-old guy will take out their tongue. Right? Where does it come from? Somebody will be saying, hi, hi. Hi, la. Can you see all these gestures? They're a whole link from our childhood. Sometimes we say, screw delusion. This has to be killed. So this is the beginning. We are now entering into self-observation. And if we can observe this child within us, and if we can kill this child through right observation, Sudarshan, we have taken a big step forward. All these years which we have lived in darkness are full of light. They can never repeat again. They can never come back again. Certain mannerisms, you see, as a young child, he wants a toy. And the toy is maybe expensive or something, so the mother and father cannot buy the toy. So then he starts rolling on the ground and he'll throw his legs in the air and he'll throw his hands in the air and all that. Have you seen it? Right? Does it stop? The child is still there. Have you seen a husband and wife fighting? I have to travel. Well, in some homes it happens. The wife is not interested, but the husband is interested in arranging everything. And you're living there and you see that, she's... તારી ટિકિટ કઢાવી લેજે, રાજનભાઈ ઇન્ડિયા જાય ને એનો ભેગો ચાલ્યો જાય, પાછો ન આવતો. When Rajan goes to India, you take your ticket with him and stay in his ashram. Don't come back. Have you seen them fighting? And the wife will come up to the husband. I am telling you. Join it. And then she goes back. She'll take a turn and then she'll come back. I'm telling you again. Can you see the Shishupal? સૌરાષ્ટ્રમાં કહેવત છે, મારા ફ્રેન્ડે મને કીધું, કે પાછી ફરી તે વિફરી. It's a tip for all husbands. It's a tip. ઝઘડો થાય તો જોઈ લેવાનું, એ જાતી હોય તો. જો પાછી ફરી તો ગયા. But then it's over. She should turn and come back. Whatever the fight, it's over there. She should go. પાછી ફરી તો વિફરી. પછી કોઈ ના સંભાળે ના સંભાળે. It's not possible.
પછી ભગાય નહીં ને
કઈ નથી. આમ જઈને પાછી આવે.
ક્યારેક પી પણ લઈને પાછી આવે.
શિશુપાસ. આપણા ગુરુજી છે. જોઈ લેજે, કેપટાઉન ને ઓછા દિવસ આપ્યા. પાછો અહીંયા આવીને આ એક્સરસાઇઝ કરાવે. તો જોતો રહ્યો કે ભાઈ જાય છે તો પાછા ફરશે તો 1 વર્ષ અહીંયા જ રહેવું પડે. This inner child has to die. And it is through this process of self-observation where we are looking inside and we look at these mannerisms. We are observing the manifestations of our moving center. And those manifestations have accumulated over a long period of time. They're a whole chain. And as we throw light on those mannerisms, Sudarshan, through light, the inner observation, one day that inner child dies and light goes back into our childhood. So a whole new memory will be created through the process of self-observation. A different quality of memory. We will call that work memory. Work memory. Later on we'll go deeper into this subject of work memory. It's a very, very important subject. Okay, another question. Does self-observation change our karma? What is happening in self-observation? What is happening in self-observation? Supposing there is one man and he's in front and behind him another man comes and he's observing everything which the man in front is doing. The two men now. We are not one person. Something behind is observing everything which the person in front is doing. હવે આપણે બે વ્યક્તિ થઈ ગયા. અને એક આગળનો વ્યક્તિ છે, એક પાછળનો વ્યક્તિ છે. અને પાછળનો વ્યક્તિ જે આગળ કરે છે એ બધું જોઈ રહ્યો છે. These two men, which my Guru gave two names to them, we will call the physical body the astral body. Please understand, we do not have an astral body. Ready-made, we do not have an astral body. We have to create an astral body. We have an emotional body. આપણી પાસે લાગણીનું શરીર છે, ભાવ શરીર નથી. લાગણીના રૂપાંતરણની અંદર ભાવની ઉત્પત્તિ છે. લાગણી ચીટકી જાય છે. my Guru gave these two bodies the name, the primary body and the secondary body. The one at the back, which is looking at the body in front, he called the primary body. The one in front, which is also the physical body-brain system, he called the secondary body. But he said as long as both of them are stuck with each other, the secondary body becomes the primary body. Now, where is karma recorded? Where is karma recorded? It is recorded in the primary body. That substance which we call lagni, affection, that substance takes on a certain pattern. It is this pattern which repeats. You see, you insult me. The insult falls on the brain cells of the secondary body. But the primary body is stuck with I have not yet separated it. I have not yet gone into the process of self-observation. I have not created an observing eye which is observing what is happening in the secondary body. So that primary body is stuck with the secondary body. It is an emotional body and I get emotionally upset. Why did you insult me? I get emotionally upset. And in that getting emotionally upset, that substance called affection within me, that substance called lagni within me, મારી અંદર એ જે મટીરિયલ છે લાગણીનું, એ એક રૂપ લઈ લે છે કે હવે હું ફરીથી દુઃખી થાઉં. Now, this goes on throughout our lives and we keep on accumulating more and more emotional knots. And these knots are the seeds for future repetition of what has happened. Now, as we are practicing self-observation ની અંદર આપણે જઈએ છીએ, we are separating the primary body from the secondary body. So you insult me, I get hurt, but now I separate. I observe the hurt. I don't allow my substance called affection to take the shape of that hurt. No karma is created. This is the meaning of Jesus walking on the water. We walk through life, not leaving a single footprint. Every moment. Let's take this in another way. It will become a little easier to understand. We have two electromagnetic fields. The electromagnetic field of the primary body, the electromagnetic field of the secondary body. Sthul sharirનું electromagnetic field, sukshma sharirનું electromagnetic field. The physical body, the field is created by the electricity passing through the nerves. The electricity which flows through our nerves all the time creates an electromagnetic field around the nerves, which today science calls as the aura. Just as there is electricity passing through the nerves, in the primary body there is pran passing through the nadis. And this pran passing through the nadis it creates its own field. It's a more subtle bioelectricity of the subtle nerves, not of the physical nerves. And each physical nerve has a subtle counterpart. Now, these two fields, whenever I am in a negative emotion, both the fields are stuck together. I am angry on him, they are stuck together. I am jealous of him, they are stuck together. And when they are stuck together, you say something, the first field takes the shape of what you are saying, it passes it on to the second field. The second field takes the shape, it remembers it forever. It lies there as a seed, it lies there as a knot. This is the seed which we sow as the seed of karma. It goes with everything. He's sneezing in front of me. If my physical field takes the shape of that cold, that sneeze, passes it on to the secondary field, I'll get a cold. This is simple. Yeah, please.
You said the nerves have their subtle bodies, which is the nadis, right?
Yeah.
Is that how the chi works? Is that the... in Chinese, they influence the chi in that nadis. Or is that now something?
I'll just try to explain it a little. There is the physical field, there is the astral field. Right? But between that, there is an etheric field. Etheric field. All the chakras are in the etheric field. In the etheric field, we don't have nadis, we have what is called as meridians. But the Hindus, the yoga which was developed in India, right? That is the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, the Shiva Sanhita and the Gheran Sanhita, the three shastras of yoga, physical yoga, Hatha Yoga. And of course, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is much before all that, right? So these are the three shastras of yoga in India. And they are talking of nadis, they are talking about the chakras in the etheric field, but they are talking more on the emotional side, the astral side. Similarly, there was a yoga made in China, which came from Taoism, right? A lot of it was lost because there was a big invasion of Buddhism into China. And Buddhism destroyed many of the beautiful texts of Taoism. So, they say Buddhism is religion of non-violence, but there was this subtle violence where it got rid of the other. And some very, very beautiful texts were lost because they were rewritten in the light of Buddhism. Now, Taoist yoga, it talks about the chakras also, but it doesn't talk about nadis, it talks about meridians. And what flows through these meridians is chi energy. What flows through the nadis is prana. So between the electricity and of the nerves, and between the subtle thing which we call prana, there is something in between, and that is called as chi. And it's very important because that chi had also, the Hindu yoga was not very much into the physical side of it. You get, Hindu is of course a wrong word. It's the British have given that word Hindu, it doesn't mean anything. Right? So, but you have to use it. You have to use it. There's nothing like Hindu. So, it's a residue from the British. Residue. So, they were more into the transformation of lower emotion into higher emotion. Whilst the Chinese yoga, the Taoists were also into low, but there was also an outer side of that yoga where you could develop martial arts. And that is where the chi energy became very important. Right? So they had that side of it, and that was the chi energy. So if you go into martial arts, they have all these katas where they are practicing. That is the most beautiful part of martial arts. The katas, not the real fighting. And all those katas are just manipulation of the chi energy. But the Hindus were not interested in that. They wanted to go deeper. So they were interested in only transformation of the lower emotion into the higher emotion. They were not interested to have a physical side of it. They didn't want to control somebody. They didn't want to fight with anyone. But and this was not there exactly in the original Taoist yoga. Because the person who took Buddhism from India to China was somebody called Bodhidharma.
So when you see in the movies, they sort of do the katas and they bring in energy to...
That is the chi energy.
And they want to hit the opponent.
Yeah.
So they're working on the emotion, they're working on another body system too.
Between the emotional and the physical, there is a web called the etheric body. They're working with that body.
So if there's an opponent and they're working with that energy, so then they're both in the same universe.
I'll just give you a small experiment. I don't do it any longer, but I used to keep a pendulum. So when my guru was teaching me how to use the pendulum, then my guru would do this and the pendulum would start moving on its own. So I made 2 iron rods like this, thin iron rods, and a bar like this, and I would tie the pendulum on the bar and I would keep it on my study table. So before I start to do my work, I would look at the pendulum and try to move it with my mind. Right? Now this is chi energy from the mood. And all moods are in the etheric body. All moods are in the etheric body. See, this is a very slow process. Rato rat nahi hai. It is like 2 pieces of wood are stuck together, but you think they are one piece only. You don't think that, can't see that they are 2 pieces. Be lakda na patya chotela છે, પણ આપણને એમ જ છે ભાસ છે કે એક જ છે. અને they have to be separated. અને they cannot be torn apart. એને ખેંચી નહીં શકાય. Slowly, it requires patience, it requires persistence. Many times, we will feel that this can't be done. It's not possible. Doesn't matter, keep trying. What we call as consciousness and what we call as mood are the 2 pieces of wood. They are stuck together. I am my mood. I am in a bad mood. Nobody call me just now. I'm in a bad mood. એને અત્યારે બોલાવા જેવો નથી. It's a bad mood. And these bad moods can last for days. I don't know if they last for years. It lasts for days. Can you see the bad mood? What is happening? That the wrong chemicals are going into the system every second. Can you see the tenseness of the muscles? I'm in a wrong state. I'm in a wrong state. So we extract consciousness out of the mood. This is our first step. કે અત્યારે હું ક્યાં છું, હું કઈ જગ્યાએ છું, where am I just now? Can I extract consciousness? Right? That is, we bring in the observing eye. Now, somebody insults me. I am in a bad mood. Where has that mood come from? Where has that mood come from? A mood ક્યાંથી આવ્યો? Mood તો ગુજરાતી નથી કરતા. Where has that mood come from? Huh? Right. Very true. Very true. The mood has not come from the insult. The mood has not come from the insult. The insult has come into my mind as a thought. It triggers a memory. It triggers a memory which decodes that thought. The mood has come with that memory. It is the atmosphere in which that memory is living. And I become the mood. I sign the check over there. And every moment we are signing the check. We can't stand outside our mood. We don't realize that it did not come in with his when he insulted me, those words were neutral. Those words were neutral. એની સાથે કંઈ પણ નહોતું. એ જે મૂડ બન્યો એ મારી સ્મૃતિમાંથી એ જે અંદર વિચાર આવ્યો ઇન્સલ્ટ તરીકે એને ડીકોડિંગ કરવામાં મારી સ્મૃતિમાંથી જે આવ્યો એ મૂડ છે. Mood is always of the past. And as long as I'm living in a mood, I can never be with the present moment. I'm never living that. I'm always bhuta preta nikat nahi aave. This is, I'm living in the mood. It's very easy to sing that. We're always living with the bhoot and pret. Always. Because the mood has come from memory. So, as we practice this, we will slowly be able to see the mood in the same way as we see a piece of furniture. Right? I see a chair, I see a table. I don't say I am the table, but I say I am in a bad mood. And as we practice this, extracting consciousness from the mood, slowly we'll be able to see the mood as something totally separate from us. And we will understand the process of what is happening. This knowledge that we get is not knowledge from books now. It is knowledge which we are seeing in front of our eyes. Okay, the mood did not come with his insulting me. Whatever is coming through the five senses as electromagnetic impulses is always neutral. Always neutral. We attach the label to it. And this labeling starts with liking and disliking. મને ગમે છે કે નથી ગમે. Now there's a little problem over it. Like he said, if somebody attacks you, there is an instinctive center and there is an emotional center. We did this last year. The instinctive center every moment has to tell us whether it is comfortable or not comfortable, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant. That is there for our self-protection. But before we even know it, the emotional center labels it, okay, I like it or I dislike it. It's so fast. It is so fast. Can you see the amount we'll have to practice to bring in consciousness? This is hard work. So we are looking at the mood, and before the mood has come like and dislike, it was too fast for us. We cannot work with like and dislike, but at least the mood persists for a long time. So it gives us a chance. Okay, for 5 minutes I was in the mood. I suddenly wake up and I say, where am I? The thing goes, tit, where am I? I am in a negative state. I am in a positive state. And just by observing, the negative state will become weak. It won't persist. Can you see the karma which the negative state is creating? He has insulted me. I am in a negative state. He has gone away. Now I am mumbling inside. I'm mumbling inside, right? And all sorts of things are going on inside. All sorts of thoughts are being created out of the mood. The thought which came in was not created from the mood. That was a neutral thought. But now the new thoughts which are coming are all being created out of the mood. One after the other. And with each one, every society has its own way of dealing with problems. Now, if you study people, I'm just taking names, I'm not saying they are bad or good. Please understand this. So it's not labeling them of bad or good. Otherwise, we'll get into the wrong this thing. But if you study the Jews, you study the Kashmiris. So if there is one problem, they'll all gather around on a table like this and they're all chattering and make what to do of the problem. I don't know if you've seen the movie Rambo, right? And in Rambo 2, he goes to Afghanistan. So there is this place where this fort where he wants to go in the night to save somebody. So he puts that to all the Afghan rebels and they all gather around, right? All chattering over there. What to do with this problem? This problem has come and there's a round table conference. Of course, in India this was not the thing. In India the king would not put it there. He would first go to his guru to ask him. You see, there was a different system in India. But with different societies, they have their own ways of dealing with problems. Similarly, he has insulted me. I am now in a negative state. And that negative state, all these thoughts are like people inside me. They are living people inside me. And they are all gathering around that insult. And they are all chattering over there. It's like a kitty party. Kitty party. Everybody talking something. Most of it negative. So they are all chattering. That's the dead body called the insult is lying there. Everybody, all the eyes inside, because we are now going to go into studying these eyes. Emotional eyes, intellectual eyes, they're all there, they're chattering inside. And with each chatter, all their aim is to make me more negative. Make me more negative. That negative state lasts and lasts and lasts. And people, till their death, they hold on to these negative states. So that is why we are going to keep a timer. And the minute it goes, where am I? And if all these people are chattering inside, somebody has done something which we have not liked or something, just pause, watch them. Try to see how these negative states are created and how they feed on themselves. They don't need any outside food. They feed on memory. They open old records. I saw him 20 years ago also, he was like this one. They feed on these old records.
કિટી પાર્ટીનું ગુજરાતીમાં કહી દઉં.
એટલે આ બધા આપણી અંદર વ્યક્તિઓ છે અને હકીકતે જીવતી વ્યક્તિઓ છે. આગળ જ્યારે આપણે સ્ટડી કરશું, આ અંદર આપણું મન એટલે શું, અને જ્યારે અંદર આવી રીતે પ્રોબ્લેમ આવે છે ત્યારે એ બધી વ્યક્તિઓ કંઈક ને કંઈક, અને બધું નેગેટિવ, અને એની લીધે આપણું મૂડ છે ને એ એક્સપેન્ડ થતું. કોન્શિયસનેસના એક્સપેન્શનની બદલે નેગેટિવ મૂડનું એક્સપેન્શન થઈ જાય છે. We have to extract consciousness and expand the consciousness. We are in the wrong place. The wrong place. The minute you start studying this, we will see that we are always slaves to our inner state. Always slaves to our inner state. If I am in a negative state, he comes to meet me, I will see his bad side. If I am in a positive state, he comes to meet me, I will see his good side. And of course, if I'm in love, I'm always in a good mood. But what happens to that love? It follows the law of the pendulum. Do all moods follow the law of the pendulum? They have to. They have to. And we can forecast that it is happy now, but something has to come to make it sad. Something has to come. You know from beforehand. And then you laugh at the game. It came. It was so happy. Sun came and said, oh, I got so many marks in the moon. And then another phone comes, oh, you have to go to the hospital, this aunt has fallen down. Right? Take your tiffin with you over there. Right? Mood has changed. 1 minute it was here, the next minute the mood has changed. And this mood keeps on changing. Observe this. Just observe. And all these moods are different people within us. Somebody is master of the guest house, somebody else is coming. I see it so often in the stock exchange. If I have bought something and it is going up, happy, but comes down a little, sad. Again goes up, happy. Again comes down, sad. Pendulum is swinging. And this is changing within us every moment. It is from this that we have to come out. Now, what else affects our moods or induces a mood? Can you tell me one thing? Suggestibility. શું કહેશું ગુજરાતીમાં? Suggestibility.
સૂચન ક્ષમતા. સૂચન
કાચી માટીનો છે. શું કહેવાય? આપણે કે કાચી માટીનો છે. કોઈકની વાત
કાચા
કાચા કાનનો છે. એ કોઈકની વાતમાં આવી જાય છે. Suggestibility. Just as objective. Yesterday you asked a question about the Guru. Right? I'm putting it objectively. Don't take it as anything. So yesterday he asked a question. Okay, this Guru is bad. Was it the suggestibility of the newspapers? Was it the suggestibility of the media? We read something. We have an inner pattern of what is right and what is wrong. We judge that person and we go into a bad mood. Are we victims of suggestibility? Does suggestibility play a big role in this creation of mood? સમજાય છે કે ગુજરાતી બોલું? કોઈકની વાતમાં આવી જાઓ, ખાલી કોઈકની વાત નહીં પણ છાપાની વાતમાં આવી જાઓ, ન્યૂઝ રીડરની વાતમાં આવી જાઓ. Try to see beyond. Try to see beyond. Whenever any news reader is criticizing anything, go behind him. Take your observing eye. Go behind him. What is behind? Suggestibility. But we are so suggestible. अरे ए भाई हाँ आनी बाबतમાં વાત તો કેવી કરતા હતા કિટી પાર્ટી કિટી પાર્ટી. Right. Suggestibility. We are so suggestible. And once the observing eye separates, then we will see that suddenly we are free of so much of suggestibility. And in today's world, it is all around us. All around us. All around us. Today I was Googling something and there was a small ad over there, Nissan electric car. So I said, oh, Nissan electric car, let me just see. Suggestible. Suggestible. Now, if there is observing eye over here, just a little bit. Okay, I'll see it after some time. But I don't want to become a victim of suggestibility. People lose fortunes because of suggestibility. Their whole lives are filled with what you call pain and suffering because of suggestibility. So, that is one thing. Suggestibility creates moods. One last point, our time is nearly getting over. Do I enjoy negative states? If I enjoy negative states, I can never start self-observation. મને રસ આવે છે નેગેટિવિટી. સાંભળું કે આ ભાઈ આ કરે છે તો મને રસ આવે છે, જલ્દી કોઈક કિટી પાર્ટી મળે, હું કોઈકને જઈને કે આવું. રહી નથી શકતો. સનસનાટીથી ભરેલું. So, do I like all these kind of news about someone? And do I enjoy talking about it to somebody else? Then I'm always hypnotized. How am I going to create observing eye? And we have to be very, very, what do you call, aware of these states where we are enjoying negative states. Because we are sowing the karma very deep at that time. Because we are enjoying it. We are enjoying it. It becomes it doesn't remain in this life. That enjoyment carries it forward. We carry it with us. The same pattern. We enjoy gossip. We enjoy eavesdropping. We enjoy all those big news. What do you call it? So, we have to ask ourselves કે મને કઈ વસ્તુમાં રસ આવે છે. કોઈને ઉતારી પાડવામાં રસ આવે છે. કોઈને ક્રિટિસાઇઝ કરવામાં રસ આવે છે. કોઈ કેમ ખોટો છે એમ બતાવવામાં રસ આવે છે. What things give me enjoyment? To put somebody down, to show that where he is wrong and I am right. This is one thing which we use very often. मैं तो पहले थी के दे दो. I told you right from the beginning. पहले थी के दे दो. Wives are expert at this. We love it. Then how can we observe? How can we observe? So, this creation of observing I, we have to be wary of so many things. Bring awareness in so many things. Just by changing the mood, so many things will change in our life. Just by observing the mood. The minute the mood changes, all the negative thoughts which that mood was going to induce, we are free of them. They are not going to come now. They were all very wicked people, those thoughts. They had only one aim in life, to make us negative. Now we are seeing them from far. Now, when we pass into the opposite mood, because we know that moods follow the law of the pendulum, we won't feel upset. We won't go into a bad mood. We'll say, okay, this is the law. This is the law. Everything has to swing. One thing leads to another. And once we are free of the mood, we are free of that draining of energy. That mood is sucking our energy every moment like a bloodsucker. So, all self-observation starts with observation of moods. Bring about this freedom in our life where we can see our mood from far away. The next step in self-observation will be observing the inner chattering, the inner buck-buck. So we're going to go into that. Then we'll go into many eyes. Any questions? We can take any. Please do take some questions if anybody has. Yeah.
Earlier you mentioned primary body, secondary body, tertiary body.
Yeah.
How do you relate that to Om Bhagwa, the three stages that you mentioned on your last visit?
Primary body, first body.
Yeah, first.
Secondary body is first. Primary body, second. Mental body, causal body. Right.
Also.
Yeah.
Now my question, how do you relate that? If you remember on your last visit,
Yeah.
you spoke about Om Bhagwa, the three stages, to that.
Right.
Is there a relationship between the two?
Right. So the secondary body is Bhu.
Right.
The primary body is Bhuva. Right. So as the Bhuva is our emotional material, through which we form relationships. So Bhuva is the world of relationships. The world of relationships. Now, relationships have come in our life to transform this material of Bhuva. So we transform that material. And then something separates from bhuva, right? And that becomes swaha, the mental body. The mental body. It's very difficult to talk about the mental body because in that we are suddenly seeing the seed of thought. The seed of thought.
So every day is that naturally.
Pardon?
At the bhuva level.
Bhuva level we are in the world of relationship, right?
And the seed of thought
Is in the mental body. The seed of thought is in the mental body. And it's very difficult because we are at present full of self-love. So behind everything is this motive of self-love. So to go into the real seed of thought, to have that perception, to go beyond self-love, will be a little difficult. But I'll try to give an example to you, because with the creation of the mental body, the world changes dramatically. Yesterday, I think we talked a little bit about robbery in the cosmic mind. Did we talk about that yesterday? Universal mind? Okay. Now, this whole cosmos is trying to evolve. You understand what I'm trying to say? Everybody is looking for happiness in this evolution, for a permanent source of happiness. Whether they do it negatively or they do it positively. Supposing I steal some money from you, then in the end, I'm not stealing it for suffering. I'm stealing it to be free from suffering. You understand what I'm trying to say? So, in that stealing of money from you, the motive deep down is still a part of this evolutionary process. I don't know if I'm coming across. You get what I'm trying to say? Supposing I take a knife and murder somebody, right? But I'm not murdering somebody to be an unhappy person. I'm disillusioned, I'm in a state of hypnosis is a different matter. But still my inner thing is I'm murdering somebody, I feel I'm going to get some happiness out of that. You get what I'm trying to say? So when you are in the mental body, suddenly there's a big change in everything which is right and wrong. Because then you see that everybody is in their own way is doing it just to be happy, which is a part of this evolutionary process. You get? And then you cannot judge anything. Then you cannot you cannot even call a murderer because you say that he is still doing it for his happiness. So there you see the deeper motive behind everything. And then comes the causal body. And in the causal body, there are the three forces. The basic, I'm going to go into them this time, the three forces. And you say that if you're driving the car, then that is the active force, Raja Guna. But you also need a brake to stop the car, Tama Guna. And this whole cosmos is nothing but a play of these three forces. It is not even a play, it is a dance. It is a dance. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Today I want to be happy. I can only be happy if I buy this from the shop. Right? So this desire to buy this is Rajagun, one force. But I don't have enough money, that is Tamagun. Can you get what I'm trying to say? But it's a play. It's a play. But just now in the state in which I am, if I don't get to buy this, I'll get depression. You understand what I'm trying to say? But when I'm seeing that play, I'll say, oh, these two forces, they wanted to play cricket. So in cricket, one has to bowl and one has to bat. They can't both be on the same side. They both have to fight against each other. And this is the law of the universe. This is the law of the universe. And then you see everything as a play of forces. Right? Somebody did this to you, you say one force wanted to play cricket with another force. What difference does it make? This is the dance of the three forces. Somebody came and cheated you, somebody came and insulted you, but at that causal level it is just a dance of the three forces. And you enjoy the dance. Because there you're just observing that dance. The active force, the passive force, the neutral force. Right? Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. They are the cause of everything. The three forces are the cause of everything. And that is why it is called the causal body. And the playground, the screen on which the causal body is, where these three forces are moving and creating and destroying, and somebody is dying and somebody is being born and somebody is crying and somebody is happy, and it's just the dance of these three forces, and the screen on which they are happening is your own presence, and that presence is Krishna, that presence is God, that screen. And that screen is behind everything in life. We are sitting here on that screen. It is there. We call that as Sat. Sat, Chit and Anand. Sat, that screen behind on which the play is happening. And the play is happening at the three forces level. The play is happening in the mental body at the motive level. The play is happening at the Bhuvalok at the relationship level. The play is happening on the Bhulok at the physical body level. And at all the levels the play is happening. And it is all happening on that one screen which we call as God. Right? Let's stop over here. Thank you. Good night. Jai Shri Krishna.